Hana sat at the corner table of the Silver Moon restaurant and tried to calm her nervous heart. The restaurant was one of the nicest places on Nova Station, a huge space station where many different alien species lived and worked together. Through the large windows, she could see hundreds of ships coming and going, their lights blinking like stars. She wore her best dress, a soft blue one that made the gentle glow patterns on her skin shine brighter. Hana was Quellan, and like all her people, her skin had beautiful light patterns that changed with her feelings. Right now they flickered with excitement and worry. Tonight was her blind date. Her friend Mirai had set it up, promising that Taeyang was kind and successful. Hana had been alone for so long. Most Quellan men did not want to date her once they learned she was deaf. They thought she was broken or less than others. But Mirai said Taeyang was different. Mirai said he would not care. Hana touched the small device behind her ear. It was her translator implant. It picked up sounds and turned them into words she could read on the inside of her vision, like text floating in the air only she could see. The device helped, but it was not perfect. Sometimes it missed words or got them wrong. She watched the door, waiting. Her hands moved nervously on the table. In Quellan culture, moving hands without control showed bad manners, but Hana could not help it. She was scared and hopeful at the same time. The door opened and a tall Quellan man walked in. He had the proud walk of someone important. His skin patterns were bold and bright, showing confidence. He looked around the restaurant with sharp eyes. When the host pointed to Hana's table, the man's expression changed. His patterns dimmed a little. That was Taeyang. Hana stood up and smiled. She waved her hand in the traditional Quellan greeting, her fingers moving in the specific pattern that meant, "Honor to meet you." Her movements were perfect, practiced many times at home. Taeyang walked to the table slowly. He did not return the greeting properly. His fingers moved quickly and carelessly, barely making the right shape. He sat down without pulling out his chair carefully, making a scraping sound Hana could not hear but could feel through the floor vibrations. "You are Hana?" he asked. His mouth moved and the words appeared in her vision through her implant. "Yes," she said out loud. Her voice always sounded strange to her because she could not hear it. But her speech therapy had been good. Most people understood her easily. "I am happy to meet you. Mirai told me many good things about you." Taeyang's skin patterns flickered with something Hana could not read clearly. Annoyance, maybe? He picked up the menu and looked at it without really seeing it. "Mirai did not tell me everything about you," he said. His patterns turned a dark orange color, which in Quellan body language meant displeasure. Hana's heart sank a little, but she kept smiling. "What do you mean?" "She did not tell me you were deaf," Taeyang said. He put down the menu and looked at her directly. His eyes were cold. "That is important information. I should have known before agreeing to this date." The words hit Hana like cold water. Her skin patterns flickered rapidly, showing her distress before she could control them. She took a breath and made them steady again. "I am sorry if it bothers you," she said carefully, "but I can communicate well. I read everything you say through my implant and I can speak clearly. We can have a normal conversation." "Normal?" Taeyang laughed, but it was not a kind laugh. "Nothing about this is normal. Do you know how this looks for me? Dating someone who is defective?" Hana felt her chest tighten. Defective. That word. She had heard it before many times, but it always hurt. Her hands started to shake, so she put them in her lap under the table where he could not see. "I am not defective," she said quietly. Her voice wobbled a little. "I am just different." Different, defective, same thing in the end. Taeyang stood up suddenly. "This is a waste of my time. I am sorry, but I cannot do this. I have a reputation to think about. My family would be embarrassed if they knew I was seeing someone like you." "Someone like you." The words burned in Hana's mind. "Please," Hana said, and she hated how small her voice sounded. "Just stay for dinner. Give me a chance. I am a good person. I work hard. I have interests and dreams. I am more than just my ears," but Taeyang was already walking away. He did not even say goodbye properly. He just left, walking past the other tables quickly like he could not get away fast enough. Other diners looked up, noticing the scene. Some whispered to each other. Hana sat alone at the table. The waiter came over, looking uncomfortable. "Will your friend be returning?" the waiter asked. He was a Tellurian with kind eyes. "No," Hana said. She tried to smile, but her face would not make the right shape. "No, he will not come back." But I will eat alone. Please bring me the soup. The waiter nodded and walked away. Hana looked down at her hands. Her skin patterns were dim now, almost gray. That color meant sadness and shame. She tried to brighten them, but she could not. The feelings were too strong. At the next table, she noticed a human man and a small human girl. The man was looking at her with a strange expression on his face. Humans were interesting creatures. They did not have skin patterns, so Hana could never tell what they were feeling just by looking. But something in his eyes seemed kind. The little girl was talking happily, her small hands moving around as she told a story. The man smiled at his daughter, but he kept glancing at Hana, not in a rude way. More like he was concerned. Hana looked away. She did not want pity. She had enough pain without adding embarrassment from strangers watching her rejection. The soup came, and Hana ate it slowly. It tasted like nothing. Everything felt gray and empty. She had been so hopeful tonight. Mirai had promised this time would be different, but it was the same as always. No one wanted her. No one could see past her deaf ears to the person inside. She finished her soup and asked for the bill. The waiter brought it quickly, still looking sympathetic. Hana paid with her credit chip and prepared to leave. She just wanted to go home to her small apartment and cry where no one could see. As she stood up to go, something happened. The human man from the next table stood up too. He was walking toward her. Hana froze, not sure what to do. Humans were kind of scary sometimes, so direct and strange in their ways. The man stopped near her table. Then he did something that made Hana's heart stop. He lifted his hands and moved them in careful, precise patterns. He was signing. Not just any signing, but Galactic Sign Language, the universal sign language that deaf people across many species used. His hands said, "You deserve better." Hana stared at the human man in complete shock. His hands had just signed to her in perfect Galactic Sign Language. The movements were smooth and natural, not like someone who had just learned. He signed like someone who used the language every day. You can sign?" Hana signed back, her hands moving automatically. The man nodded. He smiled. And it was a warm smile, the kind that made his eyes crinkle at the corners. He signed again. "Yes, I learned many years ago. My name is Doyen. That is my daughter Sumin." He pointed to the little girl at his table. She was watching them with bright, curious eyes. She waved at Hana with a big smile. Hana signed slowly, still not quite believing this was real. "How do you know sign language?" "Most humans do not learn it. Most aliens do not learn it either." Doyen's smile became a little sad. He signed, "My wife was deaf. She died 3 years ago. I learned to sign for her when we first met. Now I use it to keep her memory alive and to teach Sumin. I am sorry for your loss," Hana signed. Her heart hurt for this stranger. She could see the pain in his eyes even though his smile stayed gentle. "Thank you," Doyen signed. Then he pointed to her table and signed, "Please do not go home sad and alone. Come sit with us. We were just about to order dessert. Sumin would love to meet you." Hana hesitated. This was strange. Humans were strange. She did not know what to think. But when she looked at Sumin's happy face and Doyen's kind eyes, something in her chest loosened a little. The heavy, painful feeling from Taiyang's cruelty became a bit lighter. "Are you sure?" Hana signed. "I do not want to bother you." "You are not a bother," Doyen signed firmly. "That man who left you was an idiot. Please join us." Hana found herself nodding. She picked up her small bag and followed Doyen to his table. Sumin bounced in her seat with excitement when Hana sat down. Hi, are you an alien?" Sumin asked. Her mouth moved very fast and Hana's implant struggled a bit to keep up with the child's quick speech. "Sumin, manners," Doyen said gently. Then he started to sign while he spoke so Hana could follow both ways. "This is Hana, she is Quellen. And yes, we should be polite and not call people aliens to their faces." "Sorry," Sumin said, but she did not look sorry. She looked amazed. "Your skin is so pretty, it glows. Can you make it change colors?" Hana could not help but smile. Children were always honest, but not in a mean way like adults. Sumin's wonder was pure and innocent. "Yes, I can change the patterns," Hana said out loud. She made her skin patterns shift from dim gray to a bright, happy yellow. Sumin gasped in delight. "That is so cool." Sumin clapped her hands. "Can you teach me how to do that?" "Only Quellen people can do it," Hana explained. "It is how we show our feelings. Like how humans smile or frown with their faces, we change our skin patterns. Doyun signed to her. What color were you showing when you were sitting alone? Hana's patterns dimmed a bit. Gray. It means sadness and shame. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Doyun signed with strong, emphatic movements. That man should be ashamed. Not you. The waiter came back, looking surprised to see Hana at a different table. Doyun ordered chocolate cake for Suman and coffee for himself. He looked at Hana. What would you like? He asked, signing and speaking at the same time. Maybe tea, Hana said. And maybe I could try the cake too? Make that 2 chocolate cakes, Doyun told the waiter with a grin. While they waited for dessert, Suman chattered about her day at school. She had learned about different planets in her class, and she wanted to know everything about Hana's home world. Hana found herself talking more than she had in months. Suman asked question after question, and each one was full of real curiosity, not judgment. Do you have pets on your planet? Suman asked. Yes, we have creatures called Vimka. They are soft and furry with 6 legs and long tails. They purr when you pet them, kind of like earth cats. I love cats, Suman said. Dad says we can get one when we move to a bigger apartment. After you prove you can take care of your room, Doyun added, signing as he spoke. He looked at Hana and signed. She wants every pet she sees. Last week it was a Zentari lizard bird, Hana laughed. It felt good to laugh. She had not laughed all day. Zentari lizard birds are very difficult pets. They spit acid when angry, see? Doyun said to Suman. Acid spit. That is why the answer was no. Suman pouted but then forgot about it when the cake arrived. The chocolate cake was huge and covered in thick frosting. Suman dove into hers immediately, getting chocolate on her nose. Hana took a small bite of her own cake and was surprised by how good it tasted. Rich and sweet, but not too sweet. This is delicious, she said. Earth chocolate is one of humanity's best contributions to the galaxy, Doyun said with a smile. He signed. Some say it is our only good contribution, but I think we have a few other things to offer. Like what? Hana signed back, genuinely curious. Doyun thought for a moment, then signed. Stubbornness. Humans do not give up easily. When everyone says something is impossible, humans try anyway. Sometimes we fail. But sometimes we succeed and surprise everyone. That sounds difficult, Hana signed. Always fighting against what others think. It is, Doyun agreed. But it also means we do not let others define us. We decide who we are. Those words hit Hana hard. She had let others define her for so long. Defective. Broken. Less than. She had started to believe those words were true. How did you meet your wife? Hana signed carefully. She hoped the question was not too personal. Doyun's expression softened. I met Yunji at a library. She was reaching for a book on the top shelf, and I helped her get it down. When I spoke to her, she pointed to her ears and shook her head. She showed me a card that said she was deaf. Most people would have just walked away, but I did not want to. She was beautiful and kind. I could see it in her eyes. He paused, his hand still for a moment. Then he continued signing. I spent the next month learning basic sign language from free videos on the net. When I saw her again at the library, I signed hello and nice to meet you. She cried happy tears. She said no one had ever learned sign language for her before. Hana felt her own eyes burning. She understood that feeling perfectly. The feeling of being invisible, of being too much trouble for people to bother with. She sounds wonderful, Hana signed. She was, Doyun signed. She taught me that being deaf was not a weakness. It was just a different way of being in the world. She could feel music through vibrations. She could read people's faces better than anyone I knew. She noticed details others missed. She was not defective. She was perfect. Suman tugged on her father's sleeve. Tell Hana about the garden, she said, her mouth full of cake. Do not talk with your mouth full, Doyun said, but he was smiling. He turned to Hana and signed. Yunji loved gardening. She grew vegetables and flowers on our balcony. She said plants did not need to hear to grow. They just needed light, water, and love. I work with plants too, Hana signed excitedly. I am a xenobotanist. I study plants from different planets. Doyun's eyes lit up. Really, that is amazing. What kind of research do you do? For the next hour, Hana talked about her work. She explained how she was trying to create crops that could grow in harsh environments, places where normal plants would die. She talked about gene splicing and adaptation studies. Doyun listened carefully, asking smart questions. Even Suman paid attention, though Hana could tell the little girl did not understand all the science words. The restaurant started to empty out. Other diners left and the lights dimmed slightly. Hana realized they had been talking for a long time. She could not remember the last time she had felt so comfortable with someone new. I should go, Hana signed reluctantly. You both have been so kind to me. Thank you for making this terrible night become a good one. Wait, Doyun signed. He pulled out his communication device. Can I have your contact information? Suman and I would like to see you again. Maybe we could meet for lunch sometime? Or you could come to dinner at our place. I am not a great cook, but I try. Hana hesitated. Her heart wanted to say yes, but her brain was scared. What if they were just being nice tonight? What if they did not really want to be friends? But then she remembered what Doyun had said about humans, about not letting others define you, about deciding who you are. Yes, Hana said out loud, her voice clear and certain. I would like that very much. 3 weeks had passed since that night at the Silver Moon restaurant. 3 weeks of messages with Doyun, lunches with him and Suman, and video calls where Suman showed Hana her drawings. Hana's life felt different now, brighter, less lonely. Today, Hana was taking them to the botanical gardens on Nova Station. It was a huge dome filled with plants from 100 different worlds. As a xenobotanist, Hana had special access to the research areas that normal visitors could not see. She waited at the entrance, wearing a comfortable green dress. Her skin patterns glowed with a soft, happy pink. She saw Doyun and Suman walking toward her, and her patterns brightened even more. Suman ran ahead and hugged Hana's legs. Hi, Hana. Dad said you are going to show us alien plants. That is right, Hana said, kneeling down to Suman's level. Some of them are very strange. One plant has flowers that smell like dirty socks. Oh, Suman laughed. Can we smell it? If you are brave enough, Hana said with a grin. Doyun caught up, slightly out of breath. He signed a greeting to Hana, then said out loud, Sorry we are late. Someone could not decide which shoes to wear. They needed to match my shirt, Suman protested. They went inside the gardens. The air was warm and humid, perfect for the plants. Hana led them through the public areas first, showing them the most impressive specimens. There was a tree from Valdris that grew crystals instead of leaves, a vine from Koros Prime that moved on its own, reaching toward any source of heat, a flower from her own home planet that only bloomed once every 10 years. Suman was amazed by everything. She asked a million questions, and Hana answered each one patiently. Doyun walked beside them, sometimes signing comments to Hana, sometimes just smiling as he watched his daughter's joy. When they reached the research section, Hana used her security badge to unlock the door. Inside, the space was part laboratory and part greenhouse. Rows of plants grew under special lights. Monitoring equipment beeped and hummed. Scientists in white coats worked at various stations. Hana led them to her personal research area. On a long table sat dozens of small pots with seedlings. They did not look like much, just tiny green shoots. But Hana's skin patterns glowed with pride. These are my project, she signed to Doyun while speaking to Suman. These plants can survive in very cold temperatures and with very little water. If my research works, we can grow food on planets that are usually too harsh for farming. That could help a lot of people, Doyun signed. His face showed respect and admiration. That is the goal, Hana said. There are many colony worlds that struggle to grow enough food. They have to import everything, which is expensive. But if they could grow their own crops, even in difficult environments, life would be easier for millions of people. One of Hana's colleagues walked by, a Quellan woman named Bora. She stopped when she saw Doyun and Suman. Hana, who are your friends? Bora asked. Her skin patterns showed curiosity mixed with something else, something less friendly. This is Doyun and his daughter Suman, Hana said. She did not sign this, speaking only in the common language. Bora did not know sign language, and Hana did not want to seem rude. A human, Bora said. Her tone was neutral, but her skin patterns turned a pale orange. Disapproval. I did not know you associated with humans. Doyun is my friend, Hana said firmly. Bora's patterns flickered. I see, well, be careful. You know how people talk. She walked away without saying goodbye. Hana felt her own patterns dim with embarrassment. She looked at Doyun and signed. I am sorry about that. Do not apologize for others' rudeness, Doyun signed back. Is this about us spending time together? Hana nodded slowly. She had not wanted to talk about this, but she could not hide it anymore. Some people in the Quellen community are talking. They saw us having lunch last week, and someone saw us at the market. They think it is strange that I am spending time with a human. Strange or wrong? Doyen signed. Hana looked away. Both, I think. Quellens are traditional. We usually stay with our own kind. Dating or being close friends with other species is seen as inappropriate. And for someone like me, someone who is already seen as defective, it makes things worse. Doyen's expression hardened. He signed firmly. You are not defective. I will tell anyone who says that to their face. It is not that simple, Hana signed. She felt tired suddenly. I already have a bad reputation because I am deaf. Now people are saying I have given up on my own kind, that I have settled for a human because no Quellen would want me. The words hurt to say out loud. They hurt even more because part of her feared they might be true. Hana, look at me, Doyen signed. When she met his eyes, he continued. The only person who gets to decide your worth is you. Not them. You are brilliant. You are kind. You are working on research that could change lives. If they cannot see that, they are blind. Suman tugged on Hana's dress. Are people being mean to you because of us? Hana knelt down and smiled at the little girl. Some people are not very nice, but that is their problem, not yours. I like spending time with you and your dad. That is what matters. But as the days passed, the problem got bigger. At work, Hana started noticing cold shoulders and whispered conversations that stopped when she entered a room. Her research partner, a Quellen man named Junho, asked to be transferred to a different project. He said he did not want to be associated with someone who had questionable associations. Then Mirai called her. Mirai, who had set up the blind date with Taeyang, who had been Hana's friend for years. Hana, we need to talk, Mirai said. Her face on the video screen looked uncomfortable. What is wrong? Hana asked. It is about that human you have been seeing. Doyen. Mirai's skin patterns were conflicted, showing both concern and disapproval. People are talking. Taeyang has been telling everyone that you rejected our culture, that you chose a primitive human over your own people. I did not reject anyone, Hana said. Taeyang rejected me. He called me defective and walked out. I know, and that was wrong of him, Mirai said. But that does not change how things look now. You are making it worse by being seen everywhere with this human and his child. It looks like you are proving Taeyang right. Like you are not good enough for a Quellen partner, so you settled for less. Doyen is not less, Hana said. Her patterns turned dark red, showing anger. He is kind and smart, and he treats me with respect. He learned sign language for his wife. He sees me as a whole person, not just a disability. I am sure he is nice, Mirai said, her patterns trying to be soothing. But you need to think about your future. Your career, your place in our community. This relationship or friendship or whatever it is damaging you. Then maybe I do not want to be part of a community that judges me for having a friend, Hana said. Mirai sighed. I am trying to help you, Hana. I am your friend. But I cannot be seen supporting this. I have my own reputation to think about. My family would not understand. Then I guess you are not really my friend, Hana said quietly. She ended the call before Mirai could respond. Hana sat alone in her apartment, feeling the weight of everything. She looked at her communication device. There was a message from Doyen. He had sent a photo of Suman practicing Quellen sign language, her small human fingers trying to make the right shapes. The message said, she wanted to surprise you at our next meeting. She is learning to say you are nice in Quellen. Hana felt tears on her face. Real tears, not just sadness shown through skin patterns. She had lost friends and respect in her community. Her coworkers avoided her. People whispered about her everywhere she went. But she had also gained something. She had gained people who valued her, who saw her as complete, who learned her language and included her in their family. The question was, what was more important? The next day at work, things got worse. Hana's supervisor, an older Quellen man named Taejin, called her into his office. Hana, sit down, he said. His patterns were professional gray, revealing nothing. She sat, her heart beating fast. I have received complaints about you, Taejin said. Some staff members feel uncomfortable working with you. They say you are distracted by your personal life, that you are not focused on your work. That is not true, Hana said. My research is on schedule. I have not missed any deadlines. I work extra hours almost every day. I know, Taejin said. Your work quality has not decreased. But perception matters, Hana. The team dynamic matters. I need everyone to work together smoothly. What are you saying? Hana asked, though she already knew. I am saying you need to be careful, Taejin said. Keep your personal life separate from work. Be professional. And perhaps reconsider some of your social choices. Hana stood up. Her patterns flared bright red with anger. You want me to stop being friends with Doyun because he is human? I want you to think about what is best for your career, Taejin said. That is all. Hana walked out without saying goodbye. Her hands were shaking. She went to the bathroom and locked herself in a stall. She wanted to scream. She wanted to cry. She wanted to quit her job and leave Nova Station forever. Instead, she took deep breaths and tried to calm down. She thought about what Doyun had told her about humans, about being stubborn, about not giving up when things got hard. She pulled out her communication device and sent a message to Doyun. Can we meet today? I need to talk. His response came immediately. Of course. Come to our apartment. I will make tea. When Hana arrived, Suman opened the door. The little girl hugged her immediately. 2 months had passed since Hana decided to keep fighting. 2 months of ignoring whispers and cold stares. 2 months of working harder than ever on her research. And finally, she had done it. Hana stood in her laboratory, looking at the data on her screen. Her hands were shaking, but not from fear this time. From excitement, from joy. The numbers were perfect. The tests had worked. She had successfully created a crop that could survive in freezing temperatures with minimal water. Her hybrid plant combined the hardiness of a Valdris ice root with the nutritional value of earth wheat and the fast growth of quellin grain. This was huge. This could change everything for struggling colony worlds. She immediately sent her findings to the Galactic Agricultural Committee. They were the organization that approved new food crops for widespread use. If they accepted her research, her plants could be distributed across the galaxy. That night she celebrated with Doyun and Suman. They made dinner together in Doyun's small kitchen. Well, Doyun cooked while Suman set the table and Hana told them about her breakthrough. Her skin patterns glowed brilliant gold, the color of achievement and happiness. This is amazing, Hana. Doyun signed while stirring a pot of stew. You should be so proud. I am, Hana signed back. All the hard work, all the difficult times, it was worth it for this. Suman brought out a cake she and Doyun had made earlier. It was lopsided and the frosting was messy, but it said, "Congratulations, Hana," in shaky letters. Hana felt her eyes water. These humans had become her real family. A week later, Hana got a response from the Agricultural Committee. They wanted to review her research in person. They were sending a representative to Nova Station to inspect her laboratory and see the plants themselves. This was standard procedure, but it still made Hana nervous. She prepared everything carefully. She organized her data. She made sure her plants looked healthy and strong. She wrote up detailed explanations of her methodology. Everything had to be perfect. The day before the inspection, Hana went to her laboratory early. She wanted to check on her plants one last time. But when she entered the research greenhouse, her patterns immediately went dark with shock and horror. Her plants were gone. All of them. Every single pot, every seedling, every specimen. The tables were empty. Her computer station had been wiped clean. All her physical notes and samples had vanished. Hana stood frozen, unable to process what she was seeing. This could not be happening. This could not be real. She ran to find Taejin, her supervisor. He was in his office, and his patterns showed surprise when he saw her distress. My research, Hana said, her voice breaking. Everything is gone. Someone took it all. Taejin's patterns flickered with something Hana could not read. That is impossible. This facility has security. Come see. Hana grabbed his arm and pulled him to her station. When he saw the empty tables, his patterns turned orange with concern. I will call security, he said. But security found nothing. The cameras in that section had mysteriously malfunctioned the previous night. No one had seen anything. No one knew anything. It was as if Hana's research had simply disappeared. The Agricultural Committee inspection happened anyway. The representative, a stern Tellurian woman named Kessa, listened to Hana's explanation with a skeptical expression. So you claim you had a breakthrough, but now all evidence of it is gone? Kessa asked. Yes, Hana said desperately. Someone stole it. All my plants, all my data, everything. That is very convenient, Kessa said coldly. Or perhaps there was no breakthrough at all. Perhaps you fabricated the results to gain attention. No. Hana's patterns flared red with anger and distress. I would never lie about my research. This is my life's work. But Kessa did not believe her. Without physical evidence, without the plants or the data, there was nothing to inspect. The committee rejected her proposal. They added a note to her file suggesting she had attempted research fraud. Hana's world collapsed. The next day, it got worse. Much worse. A news article appeared on the station's media network. It was written by a Quellan journalist and featured an interview with someone from Taeyang's family company, a large agricultural corporation called Tail Industries. The article announced that Tail Industries had developed a revolutionary new crop that could grow in harsh environments. They had filed for a galactic patent. They claimed years of research had led to this breakthrough. The crop they described was exactly, precisely, completely identical to Hana's research. They had stolen it. Taeyang's family had stolen her work and claimed it as their own. Hana sat in her apartment reading the article over and over, unable to believe it. Her patterns had gone completely gray, the darkest gray she had ever shown. The color of despair. Her communication device buzzed. It was Doyun calling for a video chat. She almost did not answer, but she did not have the strength to ignore him. His face appeared on the screen. The moment he saw her, his expression changed to deep concern. Hana, what happened? He signed. She told him everything. The theft, the committee rejection, the article, Taeyang's family stealing her life's work. As she explained, her hands moved slower and slower until they finally stopped moving at all. She had no energy left. Doyun was quiet for a long moment. Then he signed, "This is not over. We will fight this." "How?" Hana signed weakly. "I have no proof. No evidence. They have money and power and lawyers. I have nothing. Even the Galactic Agricultural Committee thinks I am a fraud. My reputation is destroyed. You have the truth," Doyun signed. "And you have me. You have the human community on Nova Station. Let me make some calls." "Doyun, you cannot fight a major corporation," Hana signed. "This is too big. Humans do not back down from fights even when we should." Doyun signed with a small smile. "Remember, stubborn. That is what we are. Now let me help you." Over the next 3 days, something remarkable happened. Doyun contacted every human he knew on Nova Station. And those humans contacted other humans. And those humans contacted their friends. The human community on Nova Station was not huge, maybe a few thousand people. But they were tight-knit. They looked after each other. And when Doyun told them about a deaf Quellan scientist who had been robbed and betrayed, they got angry. Humans had a reputation in the galaxy. They were seen as emotional, stubborn, and fiercely protective of underdogs. When they decided someone had been wronged, they made noise about it. A human lawyer named Jiwon offered to represent Hana for free. She specialized in intellectual property theft and had won cases against large corporations before. A human journalist named Minho wrote an article questioning Tail Industries' claim. He pointed out the suspicious timing. He interviewed Hana and shared her side of the story. His article spread through the human networks on Nova Station and beyond. A human programmer named Heejin offered to try recovering Hana's deleted data. She was an expert in digital forensics. If anyone could find traces of Hana's stolen research, it was her. Doyun organized a protest. It started small, just a few dozen humans standing outside Tail Industries' office on the station, holding signs that said "Justice for Hana" and "Quellans against discrimination" and "Thieves should pay." But then something unexpected happened. Other species joined them. A group of Tellurian workers who had faced discrimination held their own signs. A few Valdris merchants who had dealt with Tail Industries' unfair practices came to support the protest. Even some young Quellans, the ones who disagreed with their elders' traditional views, showed up to support Hana. The protest grew from dozens to hundreds. The station security had to close off the area. The galactic news networks started covering it. Suddenly, everyone was talking about Hana's case. Tail Industries tried to ignore it at first, but the pressure kept building. The human community was relentless. They wrote letters to the Galactic Agricultural Committee, demanding a new investigation. They contacted their government representatives. They flooded social media with Hana's story. And then Heejin found something. She recovered fragments of deleted data from the laboratory's backup servers. The data showed that someone had accessed Hana's computer station the night before the theft using a security override code. The code belonged to someone with high-level clearance. More digging revealed security footage from a different part of the facility, footage that had not been erased. It showed two people in white coats carrying boxes out of the research wing. The boxes were the right size to hold plant pots. Ji-won took this evidence to the station authorities. She demanded a formal investigation into industrial espionage and theft. Tail Industries finally responded. But instead of admitting wrongdoing, they attacked Hana. They released a statement saying she was a disgruntled researcher trying to steal credit for their work. They claimed she had faked the evidence. They said she was bitter because no Quellan would date her, and she was taking it out on a respected Quellan company. That last part made the humans even angrier. Doyon organized a bigger protest. This time, thousands of people showed up. Humans, yes, but also members of many other species. People who were tired of seeing the powerful crush the powerless. People who believed in fairness and justice. Suman gave a speech. Doyon lifted her up so she could speak into a microphone. Her voice was small but clear. "Hana is my friend," Suman said. "She teaches me." The hearing took place in the Central Justice Hall of Nova Station, a grand building with high ceilings and walls made of transparent aluminum that showed the stars beyond. Hana sat at a long table with Ji-won, her human lawyer, beside her. Her skin patterns flickered nervously between pale green and blue. Across the room, Tail Industries had 5 lawyers, all Quellan, all looking confident and expensive in their formal robes. Behind them sat members of the company board, including Taeyang's father, a powerful man named Gicheol. The gallery was packed. Doyon and Suman sat in the front row. Behind them were hundreds of humans, Tellurians, Valdris, and even some Quellans who believed in Hana. The station media had cameras everywhere. The judges were a panel of 3, a Quellan, a Tellurian, and a human. The human judge, a dignified older woman named Patricia Kim, called the session to order. Ji-won stood and presented the evidence. She showed the recovered data proving Hana's research. She displayed the security footage of Tail Industries employees removing items from the laboratory. She presented financial records showing suspicious payments. She called witnesses who testified that Hana had been working on this research for 2 years. The Tail lawyers argued back. They claimed the research was actually theirs, developed independently. They said the security footage was unclear. They suggested Hana had planted false evidence because she was mentally unstable due to her disability and her inappropriate relationship with a human. That last comment made the human section of the gallery erupt in angry shouts. Patricia had to bang her gavel for order. Then came the most important moment. Hee-jin, the human programmer, took the stand. She was a small woman with bright pink hair and confident eyes. "I recovered deleted files from the research facility servers," Hee-jin testified. "The deletion was professional but not perfect. I found fragments of Dr. Hana's research notes dated over 18 months ago. The genetic sequences in those notes exactly match the crop that Tail Industries now claims to have invented." She pulled up a holographic display showing the DNA sequences side by side. They were identical. Furthermore, Hee-jin continued, "I traced the deletion commands. They came from a terminal registered to an employee who was hired by Tail Industries just 3 weeks before the theft. His name is Kyung-soo, and he is sitting right there." She pointed to a man in the gallery who tried to shrink down in his seat. Security immediately detained him. The Tail lawyers scrambled. They demanded time to review this evidence. They claimed it might be fabricated, but the technical data was solid. Multiple independent experts confirmed that Hee-jin's findings were accurate. Then Bora, Hana's former colleague from the laboratory, stood up from the gallery. "I have something to say," Bora announced. Her skin patterns showed shame and guilt. "I need to tell the truth." The judges allowed her to speak. She came to the front of the room, her patterns flickering with obvious distress. "I was approached by someone from Tail Industries 6 months ago," Bora said. "They offered me money to spy on Hana's research and report her progress. I took the money. I am ashamed, but I did it. They said they just wanted to monitor a competitor, that it was normal business intelligence. But when Hana's research was stolen, I realized I had helped them. I provided them with information about her work schedule, about when the laboratory would be empty, about how to access her files." The room erupted in shocked whispers. Hana stared at Bora, feeling betrayed but also vindicated. Finally, the truth was coming out. Bora continued, tears in her eyes, her patterns turning dark with guilt. I did it because I was angry at Hana. Angry that she was succeeding despite being deaf. Angry that she had human friends while I followed all the traditional rules and still felt alone. I convinced myself she did not deserve her success. But I was wrong. I am so wrong. Hana earned everything through her brilliance and hard work. I helped take that from her, and I cannot live with that shame anymore. The judges deliberated for 3 hours. When they returned, the entire gallery held its breath. Patricia spoke for the panel. After reviewing all evidence, we find that the research in question was created by Dr. Hana and stolen by agents working for Tail Industries. We order the following. First, all patents filed by Tail Industries related to this crop are void. Second, Tail Industries must pay Dr. Hana substantial damages for theft of intellectual property. Third, the Galactic Agricultural Committee must formally recognize Dr. Hana as the creator of this research. Fourth, criminal charges will be filed against those directly involved in the theft. The human section of the gallery exploded in cheers. Suman jumped up and down, shouting happily. Doyen had tears in his eyes. People were hugging each other, celebrating. Hana sat very still, her patterns cycling through every color of the spectrum as emotions overwhelmed her. She had won. Justice had been served. Gichiol, Taiyang's father, stood up, his patterns dark with fury. This is outrageous. We will appeal. We have resources. You have nothing, Patricia interrupted coldly. You stole from a disabled woman because you thought she would be too weak to fight back. You were wrong. Case dismissed. Outside the justice hall, a massive crowd had gathered. When Hana emerged with Doyen, Suman, and Jiwon, people cheered and applauded. Reporters swarmed them with questions. Cameras flashed. A reporter pushed a microphone toward Hana. Dr. Hana, how do you feel about winning your case? Hana looked at the camera. Her patterns glowed with strong, confident gold. I feel grateful. Grateful for the truth. Grateful for justice, and grateful for the friends who refused to let me give up. What will you do now? Another reporter asked. I will continue my research, Hana said. I will make sure my crop reaches the people who need it most. And I hope my story shows others that being different does not make you less. It just makes you stronger. The questions continued, but Doyen gently guided Hana away from the crowd. They found a quiet spot in a nearby park. Suman ran ahead to play on the playground equipment while Doyun and Hana sat on a bench. For a long moment, they just sat in comfortable silence. Hana's pattern slowly settled into a peaceful blue-green, the color of contentment. Thank you, Hana signed to Doyun. For everything. For believing in me, for fighting when I wanted to give up, for showing me what real friendship means. You do not need to thank me, Doyun signed back. That is what family does. Hana's patterns flickered. Family? Doyen looked nervous suddenly. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. When he opened it, Hana saw a delicate bracelet inside. It was made of twisted silver and gold with small crystals embedded in the metal. In my culture, Doyen signed slowly. Carefully. When someone wants to show their commitment to another person, they give a gift. This bracelet was my wife's. Before she died, she told me that when I found someone who made me happy again, someone who made Suman happy, I should give this to them. Hana's pattern started to glow brighter, cycling toward pink. Doyen continued signing. These past months with you have been the happiest I have been since Yunji died. You make me laugh. You challenge me. You treat Suman like she is precious. And I have fallen in love with you, Hana. Not because I pity you or because I feel sorry for you, but because you are brilliant and brave and beautiful. Tears were streaming down Hana's face now. Her patterns were so bright they almost hurt to look at. Pure radiant pink, the color of deep joy and love. I know this is fast, Doyen signed. I know we come from different species, different cultures. I know there will be challenges. But humans and Quellans can have relationships. It happens. And I want to try if you do. I want to build a future with you, with us. With Suman, a real family. Hana's hand shook as she signed back. Yes, I want that too. I love you, Doyen. I love Suman. You both showed me that I am not broken. That I am whole exactly as I am. You gave me the strength to fight. You gave me hope. Doyun took the bracelet and fastened it around Hana's wrist. Then he took her hands in his and kissed them gently. Hana leaned forward and kissed him properly. A real kiss, her first kiss with someone who truly loved her. From the playground, Suman saw them and came running over. "Are you kissing?" she squealed. "Does this mean Hana is going to be my mom?" Hana laughed and signed to the little girl. "If you want me to be." Suman threw herself at Hana, hugging her tight. "Yes, yes. I always wanted a mom. And you are the best. You can teach me about plants and sign language and alien stuff." The three of them sat together on that bench as the artificial sun of Nova Station began its dimming cycle, mimicking evening. Other people walked by in the park, some of them staring at the unusual family. A human man, a human child, and a Quellan woman all holding each other. Some of the looks were disapproving. But many more were curious or even approving. Times were changing. The galaxy was slowly learning that differences could be strengths, that love did not follow the rules people tried to put on it. 6 months later, Hana's crop was officially approved by the Galactic Agricultural Committee. They gave her full credit and a prestigious award. Her research was distributed to struggling colonies across the galaxy. Within a year, reports came back of successful harvests in places where people had been starving before. Hana received job offers from major universities and research institutions. She could have gone anywhere, worked for anyone.